Hey there fellow cake friends, and welcome to this week's tutorial.
Today I'm going to show you how to make this adorable mini cake. We'll go through masking with Italian meringue buttercream, and then I'll show you how to pipe on your cake using royal icing. If you missed my tutorial last week, I showed you how to make royal icing, and then the basic techniques you'll need for piping. Check it out at the top right corner of this screen if you want to watch that first. Before we get started, subscribe to my channel, and if you're ready to pipe, give me a thumbs up.
And let's get to the tutorial.
To start this mini cake, you'll use a 1.5 inch round cutter to cut out the number of cakes that you'd like to make. I'm using my classic vanilla butter recipe here. It's sturdy and very firm when chilled. Press straight down with the cutter, give it a twist, and then carefully press the cake out. Repeat if you're making more mini cakes. I'm using a 2 1/8 inch round board for these. Adjust the size of your cake to your board size if yours is different. I've colored a small amount of Italian meringue buttercream with dusky pink and ivory colors. Get all the tools and ingredients I'm using in the description box below. Using a small palette knife, take a touch of buttercream and smear it on each of your boards. Next, attach your chilled cakes, adjusting as necessary to make sure they're centered and firmly secured. Chill them for half an hour, covered with plastic wrap. Next, we'll mask the mini cakes to prepare them for piping. If you want detailed instructions on how to mask sharp cakes like a pro, I have an online buttercream masterclass that you can find in the description box below. I'll give you a simplified version here. Using a small offset spatula, apply some buttercream to the top of your cake. Work it back and forth and flatten it out as you rotate your turntable. You're going for 1/4 inch of buttercream all around. Spin your turntable with the spatula to smooth out the top. Work your way around the sides of your cake with more buttercream, keeping the spatula as vertical as possible to make it easier when you're smoothing it later. Since this cake is so tiny, you might have to hold onto the board as you mask it. Comment below and tell me how much you love sharp edges on buttercream cakes. Using a cake-safe tiny tool, scrape around the sides of your cake to smooth them out. Hold it at a 90-degree angle and don't add too much pressure at this point. Just gently scrape the sides until they're looking clean and smooth. Use your small offset spatula to remove the rough edges. Be sure to keep it level so your edges are even. Keep going around until the top is smooth. I like to do one final scrape around the sides to make sure it's sharp, then one more smoothing on top, and chill the cake for 30 or more minutes. Your next step is to make a batch of royal icing and pipe. Look at the top right corner of this video if you missed my royal icing recipe video along with the techniques to practice before making this cake. We'll start with the elongated shell using a PME number 44 tip. Begin at the base of the cake, adding pressure to make a rounded end. As you move up, slowly release the pressure, then when you're ready to lift off, make sure you've stopped pressure altogether. I'm leaving about 1 centimeter of space on the top edge for additional piping later, and spacing these shells about 1/2 centimeter apart. Next step, we'll be making drop strings with a PME number 1 tip. Comment below and tell me if you've ever piped on a cake before. Start your drop strings at the tip of one of your elongated shells. Touch down with a small dot of icing, then apply even pressure as you move the tip away from that point, letting gravity pull the string down. Keep an eye on the rounded part of the shell at the bottom. That's right where you'll want to be allowing the string to fall to. Continue the pressure and touch down on the tip of the elongated shell 2 down from where you started. Continue your drop strings by moving to the next shell over, then repeat until you've made it all the way around your mini cake. If you find your strings are breaking, you just need to re-whip your icing and try again. The next technique we'll be using is the small dot with the PME number 1 tip. You're going to make 3 dots above each elongated shell. The first one will cover the intersection of your drop strings to clean up the look. The next 2 will be evenly spaced in the empty space above the elongated shell. I'll make the bottom dot the largest, then make the second one medium-sized and the top one as small as possible. Switching back to your PME number 44 tip, we'll be making a rope around the top edge of the mini cake. Choose a side to be the back of your cake, and then starting at the back, pipe your rope so it just touches the edges of your cake. It will curve this time instead of staying straight like the one we did in the practice video. It will be tempting to rush through and not detach the line between each rope piece, but be sure that you do so it doesn't get too bulky or sloppy looking. When you reach the end, you'll have an awkward attachment point. Just smooth it out as best you can using a scribe tool. Next, we'll use the PME number 5 tip to make small shells. The first row we add doesn't have to be perfect, it's just to add height to the next row. Pipe shells right around the inside of the rope, all the way around. Your next row will sit on top and between the rope and the shells to make what will look like a crown. Take your time since these ones will be visible. For the cherry on top of your cake, you'll use the PME number 8C tip to create a star in the center. Apply even pressure in the center of your cake. I like to let some ruffles come over the shells so they're visible, then lift off. Smooth down the top with your scribe tool, then dampen a finger to press down the top so it's nice and smooth. There you have it, your completed mini cake. Comment below how many bites you think it would take to eat this cake. Before you start making a mini cake of your own, grab my royal icing recipe and all of the tools and piping tips I've used throughout this video. I even have a buttercream masterclass if you want to up your buttercream game before you get to piping. Grab all of those in the description box below.
If you did enjoy this video, don't forget to subscribe right down there, leave me a comment, and give me a big thumbs up, and maybe even share it with a friend who would enjoy it. Thanks for watching, see you soon.